Gangland Podcasts.
So, hello and welcome once again to this, our fifth Gangland related podcast. And if I hear that fucking music again, I'm going to kill myself. My name's Lee Wortley.
I'm Anthony Thomas. Can't believe it's the fifth show already, Lee. Where the time's going, I don't know, but...
I know, mate. I know. It's crazy, isn't it? I can't believe it. And we've got that many lined up. I don't know where I'm going to... Yeah, I don't know where we're going to fit the time in, mate. We've even, actually now, I will do a little plug here for us, because the sort of viewings and that are going up, we've actually got people approaching us to join our show now. So, anyway, what we got coming up, Ant? Anyway, go on.
Right, coming up, we got an exclusive interview coming up later on the show with Dale Brendan Hyde. Dale's been around the Gangland scene for a long time, and his Devon Aubrey Inc. run as the internet a buzz at the moment. I met Dale recently. He's a lovely bloke, and if you get a chance to read his book, just do it. It's taken Dale years to finally finish his project, and we promised you it's a one-off, so just get out and buy it. So
cracking book. It's getting rave reviews. So obviously I've done that interview with him, which you certainly don't want to miss. I mean, I know. I'll just say a little bit about the book. It centres around Otis and a abused sort of child from a bit of a deprived parents, and retribution instills. Let's just say that. So go on then, Ant. What else we got coming up, son? You know what I mean?
Right, we got another bit of exclusive audio recording from the late Paul Sykes. So that's coming up later. But before that, any other news coming up, Lee?
Yeah, there's some bit contentious. This, I don't know. I might change my name while I say this next bit. Yeah, we've got some. Hello, so welcome to Gangland Podcast. My name's Anthony Thomas. We've got some breaking news. Gangster kingpin Terry Adams has lost his bid to avoid paying back 700 grand from his days in crime. Terry Adams told to hand over $750,000 after being jailed for money laundering. The 62-year-old has repaid 360 grand but still owes 700 grand. Adams' bid to avoid paying it back was rejected by the Court of Appeal, and he could now face another 4 years in jail if he fails to pay. You can read more on this on the Daily Mail page on Facebook.
Just to get that in. It's nothing to do with us. We're only repeating what we read on the Daily Page Facebook page. So if Terry or any other Adams family are looking for someone, I suggest they go and contact the Daily Mail, and not me and Lee. Like I said, we're just passing the news on. But also, Steve Ray's new book, Operation Acid, The Downfall of Charlie Kray, released on July the 15th. The book includes unseen photos, letters, and undercover transcripts. And you can pre-order online now at www.thesayers.bigcartel.com, www.thesayers.bigcartel.com.
Yeah. I like how you spelled that out. It took a while. Did you have your dictionary next to you?
Cheeky fucker.
Yeah, I thought we'd gone back to the fucking remedial days.
Remember, we're talking to people now on audio, I mean, so they can't see what so I got to try and spell it.
Yeah, fuck off.
Wherever the fuck they got that, because I'm Welsh, I don't know. They probably...
So it's www.thesayers.bigcartel.com.
That sounds good. If you're English, yeah.
I like that on a show, just let me say it because it's funny, on that Gavin and Stacey show. He said, Bryn said, one of the characters in it, he says, I've been going on this worldwide internet, right? He said, and I've come up. Right. Everything starts with www, and the fella behind him obviously he knows exactly what it is because he works in computers. And he says, so I can remember it. I sort of use 3 words. He says, go on. He went, I use women wear wigs. He went, oh yeah, that's good. He went, or you could just use World Wide Web. He went, oh, another good one. Anyway, back to the.
I noticed you didn't stay long at Adam's family one, but never mind, that's another story. On to the next one, Lee. Any more news, Just?
I forgot all about it, mate. It's erased from my mind.
Aye.
Yeah, also I think Joey Pyle Jr.'s book's out in July. It looks that possible launch at the Blind Beggar or something.
I read something about online as well, yeah.
Yeah, we'll keep you up to date with more information.
I'm not sure if Steve Wraith and Joey Pyle having if it's the same one, or I'm sure the both of them are looking at holding a promotion party at the Blind Beggar. So it should be interesting, that one.
I have to say though, if I'm honest, this isn't me I don't mean to run anything down, but if I was going to run anything, I'd have to stop doing it at the Blind Beggar. I know I sound like a bit of a tosser there, but everything seems to be done at the Blind Beggar. You know what I mean?
You know, it's just a main meeting point, and if you look at it,
I know it is.
Craze party.
I know, but you know me, I have
coming
to
up
change
in July
things.
as well as another Craze party. I think they're having all people from our area there.
Yeah. You have it where you want.
Yeah,
I suppose so. So
right, let's go to our first question of Martin Jackson. Martin Jackson recently contacted us, and he's always asking us questions. Very knowledgeable guy.
Good lad, Martin.
So we brought him in now as what do you say, Leo? Questionnaire.
Well, it's like a resident questions man.
So we'll be having audio questions off him basically when we over the phone.
Yeah, we'll come up with a title for old Martin.
Yeah, but
could the Right Honourable Resident Speaker Martin Jackson please file his first question?
But let's go to our first question from Martin over the phone.
Okay, this is a phone question, and it goes a little bit like this.
What was the first gangster book you read? Where did your interest come from? And if you could have wrote a book on anyone, who would it be?
Okay, so there's the question, right, and I know exactly what's coming now from my fucking good friend Anthony. Do you want to take this one, big man? Go on.
Well, if anyone's going to come after us, I'm hoping they're going to go for you first, big man, I mean, because you answered it first.
You fucking twat, you.
But,
yeah, I had a feeling it was something like that, you git. So I'm going to go first then, am I?
Yeah, you first.
Yeah,
off you go,
okay.
big man.
So, right, I forgot the fucking question.
Fucking hell, Bill.
Go on, what is it?
What was
Keep
the
it
first
rolling.
gangster book you read? Where did your interest come from? And if you could have wrote the book on anyone, who would it be?
Okay, the first gangster book I read. Oh, well, do you know what?
It's an hard one, isn't it? Go on.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I should have done some homework before. The first gangster book I read. I actually can't think who it was. I think it was a Kray book.
Wasn't the Governor book, was it? No, not the Lenny's a gangster. You know what I mean?
No, it wasn't Lenny. Yeah, but it's in that genre, isn't it? Even though it's an
in that era,
autobiography.
wasn't it? That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, to be honest with you, it was definitely a Kray book. I can't actually put my finger on which one it was. I think it was that, what's the Profession of Violence?
Yeah.
The John Pearson.
John Pearson.
Yeah, I think it was that one. Yeah, and what was the other part of the question?
Oh, my God.
And if I was going to write a book...
Huh?
And if I was going to write a gangster book...
where did your interest come from? I'm asking you questions now. This is Martin's what you're asking me. So where did your interest come from in Gangland?
Okay. So back on the clock.
Back on track.
Yeah, my interest... to be honest with you, I think my interest all started from, if I'm honest, it started from Al Crossley.
Crossley,
yeah. I know he's not a gangster, Al, but that's what sort of...
Yeah, he's a fucking strong man, isn't he?
Yeah, but it's sort of the people he sort of mixed with and the people he fucking give a slap to. And, you know, I remember it was my dad, actually. My dad said to me, and actually this bit's in our book, my dad said to me, you seen this fella there? I won't fancy having a row with him, would you? And it was in the late 80s. I went, oh, no. What's his name? I said, he looks like he's just come out of the woods. You know what I mean? He's like come out from the undergrowth and he's going to murder me like a caveman. If you can hear me, Al, I'm sorry, mate. I didn't mean to say it like that. I've spoke to Al and he's a lovely fella. But, yeah, it was from that, from the Al Crossley, who's... and then I moved into everything else then, from and the Krays and all sorts. So what about you, mate?
If you could have wrote a book on anyone, would it be Lee from our era? Or, you know...
if I could have wrote a book, who would it have been? Do you know, probably Lenny's book, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
I have to say. You know, we hadn't done all this for all these years.
I knew you were going to say so other than Lenny's book.
You twat.
There must be someone out there walking me and all these...
Yeah. Someone else's book, it would have probably been... It wouldn't have been Gangster, mate. But we're talking Gangland, aren't we?
Yeah, we're talking Gangland.
Yeah, it would have been Tony Hancock. Other than that, I'm a big fan of his. But I'll be honest with you, mate. I have to be brutally truthful. It would have been the Krays.
Yeah.
It would have been the Krays. It would have been the Twins, definitely. Yeah. But I would have. Definitely. That's mine. What about you, mate?
First book I bought. Like I say, go back to the Len McLean thing, because before then I don't think I had much interest in it when I read that. I mean, and I think I used to cut Kray's articles out of the newspapers as well. So I had something out there.
Yeah, I used to do that.
From there, then I mean, my interest in it. Well, I honestly don't know. Like I said, it's probably like I said, I was boxing at the time when I read Lenny's thing, and then it was more like, you know, a bit of a gangster in it, and. Like I said, I was a doorman and always been around that scene as well with, you know, I don't want to say naughty people but
I know what you're saying.
Friends, but, you know, we're up to certain stuff, I mean, ex-jail people and all that.
Yeah.
But,
well, it's a bit funny because my town, just putting in a second, my town is a bit, you get the odd few plastic gangsters, you know what I mean? And the sort of, I don't want to sort of give people a right proper G, as Lenny would say. I always use Lenny quotes. But the sort of people we talk to in that Gangland arena now, which, you know, like you said the other day, mate, my A to Z in my phone book's looking like looking like the A to Z of the underworld, isn't it? But, you know, these are a different league. You've got people in my town who think they're gangsters, and if you're listening, hard luck. You know what I mean? But but they do, and they're nothing compared to this. When you get really delve into the reality of these, the different sort of breed, mate, aren't they? You know, so
it's like you say, the real gangsters, they haven't got books out there on the films. I mean, the proper ones. But,
and it makes me laugh when people go. I mean, like Joey Pyle, not, you know. I know young Joey's still about, obviously, and it's his dad, and we have great respect for Joey Senior. But. You know, like, Joe, I mean, what, you know, gangster people throw the word gangster about, but, you know, you are in that genre. If you deal in them areas, you are a gangster, you know, that's the way it is.
But basically, I got into him more because, like I said, Julian Davis was in our other podcast. He was travelling around the UK writing a book on street fighters. Yeah. And we did meet people who were gangsters and they're friends. Yeah. And I just got hooked on it, and then all of a sudden I went out and bought every book I could on it. I was just studying it. I go to second-hand shops. I ended up with 7 copies of The Profession of Violence. They're all in the house, different colour covers. Why I was buying some of them, I would probably to sell later on in life on eBay. But
you was a bit of a fucking loser, wasn't you?
Yeah. I got up to there. What are they doing now? They're in my attic. I mean, doing nothing.
Notice I say that. Notice I say that because you sat 14 foot away from me. Well, anyway, look, let's wrap that up. I think we answered that.
Well, let me fucking finish. You know me.
No.
Martin's asked me questions.
You
want
to
wrap me fucking up? Right. If I got to wrote a book on anyone, you cheeky fucker. If I got to wrote a book on anyone,
go on.
Hard to say. Met so many people from the gangster scene.
You just said let me talk. Now you dried up.
Like, obviously, it would be Lenny's the same as you, and if we got to go with him.
Yeah.
But
that's why I tried to shut you up. That's why I tried to shut you up, because I knew it was going to be Lenny.
Well, I'm not going to delve on Lenny, but if it was probably someone else, and they could have had a chance, and I'd probably have to say, like you said, the psychopathic fucking Ronnie Kray. I would love to, it just sat down with him. I don't know if he would have got into his head and he would have told you everything, but I just think that would have been one fucking hell of a book. You know what I mean?
I think with our interviewing technique that we've adapted over the years, and I think we might well have got some different things out of old Ron. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Let's be honest.
We wouldn't have fucked about. I mean,
and and I'm going to say this now, and I know you'll probably go, "Oh, leave it out," but fuck it. Yeah. Me and you had this conversation if we approached not doing Lenny's book down with Peter Gerrard, because it was fantastic.
Yeah.
But I wished me and you would have met Len and wrote his book, or wrote a book with Len. You know?
Yeah.
I think it would have been darker. And also darker and funny at the same time, you know, and that's why I keep saying it.
Well, we've both heard Peter Gerrard interviewing Lenny. Not many people have heard that.
No.
We've heard the exclusive tapes, and Peter Gerrard was too quiet, my liking. He just let Lenny do the talking, whereas it was me and you. We wouldn't have shut the fuck up, would we? We would.
No.
Right, Len. He probably told us to fuck off in the end, you know what I mean? But.
Hey,
that's another subject. It didn't happen.
It is, but let me just carry on because we're on this now, and it is interesting. It's the same with a fella that I've become very close to, and I know we're all three of us are pals now. A very, very big friend of Lenny's. You know, and that's all I'll say on the subject.
And we got a possible podcast coming up, maybe.
Well, we're
open. Say too much about
open.
it so far.
No. But the thing is,
if we can get him to talk, that is. But it's okay.
I mean, we've you know, I speak with him regular and have a lot to do with him, and he's a great pal, and he terrifies me. No, I'm joking. And well, he would do if he wasn't a friend now, you know.
He got the Roy Shaw eyes, as they say.
He has. He certainly fucking has. You remember when I first met him? You remember when I first met him? I said to you, I went to him, here, fucking go over there a bit. He's fucking frightening me. Anyway, he's approached us to write his book, hasn't he? And and I did say to him in a conversation, I said, the thing is though, we're a bit dogmatic, and we get to the point and we need to pull everything out of you, and you'll end up fucking giving me a clump.
And
do what?
We don't want that. We don't want to be like,
No. I don't mind if he hits you.
I don't mind. I live in fucking South Wales. You can go around your house.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Right, let's move on.
Back on track. Right, so anyway, that answers that, Ant. Right, also coming up in our next episode, an exclusive interview with none other than Charles Salvador's fiancée, Paula Williams. Lovely lady. I've chatted to her in length on the phone. She's I called her a sweet lady. She went, "Oh, thanks, Lee. That's real nice of you to call me that." An exclusive, and hopefully we'll have an exclusive from the man himself, Charlie. So you certainly don't want to miss that. I swear to God, it's going to be a corker.
We also had some good feedback on our last episode with Steve Wraith, so things are taking off, right? You're going well, Ian, but it's time to go to some exclusive audio recording with the late Paul Sykes. Hope you enjoy.
I've never taken a liberty in my life. I've belted a few people. On every case, I was in the right, and it were them that would do it, taking the liberties. And I did what John Wayne did, what any sane thinking man would do, punched them right in the fucking ear hole. I'm an expert at violence. I've been at it all my life. I'm not a thief, I'm not a liar, I was brought up on John Wayne pictures. He punches a bad guy on the chin. They cheer him, they give me time.
Paul Sykes is currently in prison for 6 years. He's been locked up for 21 of the last 26 years.
I mean, I'm not a armed robber, a murderer, a rapist. I've got no set modus operandi. It usually involves giving somebody a belt, though. There's some people I've hit and didn't hit them hard enough. And there's some people I should have hit that I didn't. People get stuck in the groove, the thinking gets stuck in the groove. Give them a little belt, you knock the groove out, and then you get their attention. Screws handed in the brains at birth. If you relied on any prison officer's mentality, we wouldn't have discovered the Isle of Man yet. Give you an example. John, the guy who were in my class at school, is an SO at Leeds, Nick. So I get discharged from prison Christmas Eve 1984. Signs me the papers, puts my record away and wishes me a bit of luck, like the way I've gone. I'm back in the Nick May the 10th, 1985. In that time, I've worn these pumps and trod on French soil, Syrian soil, Indian soil, Malayan soil, Singapore soil, and Russian soil. Just me pumps, these. I've been about a bit. John, I want to go in the reception, has moved 18 inches. And he said to me, Paul, you won't have any life left.
Paul Sykes is from Wakefield in West Yorkshire. He grew up on the city's Lupset estate, the only son of Walter and Betty Sykes.
I had never any problems with him as a little boy. He was always a grand lad. And even today, the neighbours that's known him from being a little boy won't hear a word said against him.
When he was 4, Paul was given his first pair of boxing gloves. His father Walter was in his regiment's boxing team while serving 10 years in the army. He left to become a prison officer. At home, he taught Paul to box.
Okay, so some great stuff there. That was a great little bit of recording. So what we're going to do now, one more quick question before we go to our interview. Take it away, our resident question fella blokey thing, Martin Jackson.
Are there enough Gangland books already out there, or should there be more?
Right, another good question from Martin. Is there enough Gangland books out there? Well, like I said earlier, I got hundreds in my attic. I used to collect them all the time. But I noticed Andy, I don't know if you noticed the same, it went to a bit of a quiet patch. And for the last 10 years, all you see is a book now and then. So, and you know when Lenny's book come out and he started all, and the Roy Shaws and the Joey Pies all started coming out.
Yeah, yeah.
But I noticed the last couple of years been really quiet. But should there be more out? Yeah, why not? I mean, the more better, the more people read. But
it's like we said before, didn't we? We said before, if there's pound notes in it, the thing is, I'll say this all the time, people want to read it, mate, don't they? People love it. People love... another big question I'm waiting for someone to ask us is, what makes you... It's a good question to ask women who get into gangsters or underworld figures, people who are into villainy and this, that and the other. It's a good question to ask is... what makes you interested in that? I know why I'm interested in Tony Hancock, because he makes me laugh, and he's fantastic, right? To bring his name up again, you know why you're into this, that, and the other. What makes you, you've dipped our toes in the murky world of villainy ourselves. I won't go into that, but yeah, people just love it, don't they, Ant?
So you reckon there should be a lot more out?
Yeah, definitely, 100%, yeah. I mean, there's you have to sort the weight from the chaff.
Yeah, but then Peter Gerrard, Lenny's book author, once said to me, when I first said I was going to write the Len McLean book, he said to me, what do you intend to write on Lenny that's already been written or something? In other words, you're saying, I wrote the book on Lenny, there's fuck all else you know about Lenny, you can write about him. And here we are, I mean, I've already bought one book out. You've got another book coming out. I'll be working on another Lenny book.
Yeah.
So Peter Gerrard was full of fucking shit to me.
Yeah, well,
I don't want to mention that fucking parasite, but you know what I'm doing with it.
Well, I have no problem with Peter. I know you've had your past with him, terrible stuff with him. I obviously haven't. But I totally agree. The thing is with that is, it was a ridiculous statement. I mean, come on, I mean...
But if the fans are still reading it, you want to know more, and I mean... So,
the thing is, Ant, we know with our new book...
Why can't it be 10 Lenny books? Why can't it be 25 Kray books?
Look, we know with our new book, Ant, I'm going to give it a plug now. It's out this year. We know with
When's that out, Lee?
It's out this year. September.
Come in September, and that's right.
Yeah, come in. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Come in September in all good bookstores. It will be. It is fantastic.
Are we still not allowed to mention the name? Yeah, we.
No.
We'll keep that for an exclusive coming up.
Yeah. We're keeping that.
Go on. Sorry, I'll leave it to her.
What was I saying? You put it in.
Well, I don't know. You're going to give a big speech. I
was just going to say. I was going to say this. Peter, no disrespect to Peter. Don't start phoning me up and having a pop, Peter.
Fuck him. Yeah, go on.
Well, I'll say what I like. You know what I mean? I do what I want and say what I want. Peter, the thing is, we've just done. On the 31st of January, we submitted 100,000 words that we scaled down.
From 140,000.
Yeah. And I'm going to give it a big G. We spent hours and hours. It's the hardest job I've ever done. It is a magnum opus. I'm telling you now. It is, to me, it's like the...
Well, people don't realise. They just think, oh, fucking... You mean, they put a computer on and... I mean, the work that goes on to it, as you know, Lee. God. It takes fucking... took us years, I mean, basically.
Yeah, well, look, it's took us 17, 18 years of knowledge to build up, to be able to have the tools to approach these people, a lot of which we've become friends with now, you know.
Exactly.
People who probably wouldn't give us the time of the day, you know. And we also, I'll say this as well, this is another big deal, we also get a lot of respect now from those sort of people who sort of come to us to talk to us.
Well, of course, yeah. But
and I think that pays homage to Len himself, because Lenny has given us inadvertently given us that vehicle.
Not only that, like you said, you build a name up. Look at the amount of people who've asked you to write their book now. You're helping Kelly McLean at the moment. You've been approached by another ex-gangster's wife. I don't know if you want to mention her, to write her book.
No. But
it's all exactly. Well, I think.
Yeah. And me and you's got our volume 2. That will definitely be on. That will definitely go out. We didn't do all that work.
We'll get it out. It might take us years, but we'll do it. We're not in it for the money, so we're just.
Well, we'll see how well this first one's received, which, to be honest, if you're interested in Lenny McLean, this is the last thing I'll say. If you're interested in Lenny McLean in any way, shape or form, you need to read this book, because it's like...
Yeah, it should be a cracker.
There you go.
Right, I think our answers are there. Right, it's about time we... let's go to our exclusive interview with Dale Brendan Hyde, so sit back and enjoy and get the popcorn in. I
managed to grab the Salford-born Dale in the middle of his promotion run for his debut novel, The Ink Run, and this is what he had to say. Here's a cracking little interview. Take it away, my son. Right, so joining us next is the Salford-born Dale Brendan Hyde. Dale's debut novel, The Ink Run, has the internet all in a buzz. Right, so get your chance to read it. Go and grab yourself a copy now. It's taken Dale years to finally finish the project, and we promise you it's a one-off. So welcome, Dale, anyway, mate. How are you?
I'm good, mate. Thanks. Nice to join you, Lee.
Brilliant, mate. Yeah, well, it's been a little while, hasn't it? Because you've been busy, I've been busy. We've been trying to slot it in.
Yeah, busy all the time, mate. Just trying to slot stuff. Yeah.
In it, yeah. I get people ringing me up going, I know you're a real busy man. I think, well, calm down. I ain't some sort of high flyer, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm a millionaire author, mate. I've only just put the book out.
I know, yeah. I'm waiting for my check in the post still. Right, so let's go then, mate. So, where did it all start then, Dale? Was you interested in Gangland stuff growing up, or what?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I remember, like you kind of see stuff online and you think, you hear sort of people having a look at certain stuff, and you think, I remember having that as when I was, like magazines, like true crime magazines when I was a kid, the Krays and all that. We used to kind of make, like when you was out raving, we used to get all the flyers and stick them on sort of cork boards, and in between all my flyers, we used to have like the Krays, raving, and I was always messing about with stuff, and always into my books. When I was reading, I got, I was in trouble when I was young. From I don't know, 12. Probably first arrested at 12. I know a lot of people say, "Oh yeah, I was arrested when I was like 10." It's like, I don't know if I believe all them, but I was definitely first nicked when I was like 12.
Yeah, I think I was the same.
Yeah, given a bit of a telling off. I didn't really even realise I was getting locked in a cell till it kind of took me through a few rooms, like follow me, son, follow me, and then like one at doors didn't fucking up, and I thought, fuck, he's locked me in a cell.
Yeah.
It can't. From there, and I got proper into trouble when I left school, and I failed on. I messed up my schooling.
I've said this to, just putting in there, I've said this to a lot of people, it's worse than prisoner cells, isn't it? Because it's just you, and if you've got crappy cells, where I live in Grimsby, they've got some holding cells in our town. They've got some other ones that are newer, but the old ones, it's like being locked in your toilet with no.
When I sometimes, like, my missus now, sometimes if we're in Leeds or something, we're walking around centre, and we'll go like through somewhere near the museums and then looking in the museums and that, and it's like the bottom of the museums is the old bridal, the bridal well. Yeah. The cells down there, they used to be horrific. I've seen old photos of them. I kind of look back and think, did I like fucking sit in there? It's like looks like an old dungeon or something. And, you don't notice when you're young. You're young, you're brash, you're just flying through the system. Do you know what I mean? You don't really take it in. Do you know what I mean? But when you get a bit older and look back on some of the places, I've been in some strange old cells, blocks, dungeons, down, hidden below, definitely.
Yeah. I'm jumping forward a bit now, but you ended up getting sent down, didn't you, for robbery, was it?
Yeah, that was when I was 17. I was running around. I mean, how it had happened, it was like, I kind of, like I said, I was failing at school, and I left home when I was younger, and I moved in with my uncle. And my uncle was a pisshead. I mean, he was he worked every day, don't get me wrong, I never stopped him working, but once he'd finished work, he was straight to the bookies, straight in the pub, and in the pub all day till he was legless. And the landlord used to ring me up, and I lived like just near this Subway in town, and he used to drink there. And the landlord would be ringing me up, and saying, this is when I was at school. Come and get your Uncle Martin, or like, And I kind of ended up walking him through and kind of getting ideas in my head, then thinking about rolling drunks. And again, now at 43, I'm embarrassed about, it's no big about mugging people, but I can't skirt past it.
You can't hide from your past, mate, can you?
No, I used to mug people, and I kind of started doing it, rolling drunks, walking in town. I was only living in centre town. He said, like, oh, yeah, I was like, all right, mate, do you want hand up, arm round, so go on, mate, proper sly, when you think back, you think, horrible little sod, but taking them like down somewheres, robbing them, and it kind of progressed from my home city to then I thought I better get out of like Wakefield. I started in Leeds, bigger city, and obviously I started robbing older folk, people that to do with drugs and weapons. I ended up getting nicked at Leeds City Centre with like a machete in my hand, running about. I wasn't running about with a pea shooter. You know what I mean?
You'd moved on from that.
Yeah, I got like 6 years when I was 17, which was a big sentence. Like most of the people when I first landed in the nick were doing like 3 months. A couple were doing a couple of years, and they were like long termers. You know what I mean? But there were only a handful of people that were doing, a good few years. So, I did a couple of years when I was young, got out, and then I went straight to the Middle East. I lived with my dad in Abu Dhabi and the Arab Emirates, with Dubai. My dad wanted me out. He was like, I'm coming out here. You can, I'll keep an eye on you.
Yeah.
And for a while, I was out of trouble.
He was out of trouble. Yeah. And then you come out of prison, and what happened from there then?
Getting back, just sort of getting back into trouble again.
Right.
But more, I don't know whether there's someone in my family with drinking. There might be.
There is in mine, yeah.
I kind of started drinking heavy around the city. And the city where we live in Wakefield, where my mum's from. My mum moved to Manchester. My dad moved over here. And my dad's lived in Ireland in the Middle East for years. But like, I've always been sort of located mostly in West Yorkshire. And you know, the city we live in, it's well known for drinking. It's full of pubs. It's called the Merry City. That's the nickname, because it's that, you know, merry. You might as well call it the pissed up city, because everybody, you know, all the pubs are pretty rough. There's a lot of rough fellas around here. They're all heavy drinking. The pubs are like pretty, you know. But again, when you're born there and like that, you don't really notice it. You just sort of mingle in and everyone trouble drinking, fighting.
Back then, though, Dale, everyone was merry until 3 o'clock when the pubs shut. You know what I mean? I've always said that in our town, it's a drinking town, you know what I mean? Fisherman's town and all that. And it's the same here. You know when you get what I call it a daytime hangover, where you're as moody as hell, aren't you? Everyone's the same. You know, I've never been a nasty person, but when you used to shut the pubs at 3,
everybody go. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It now it's like that. You can see it sort of change. Like if you go out at tea time, there's always them few you think, oh, they've been out since dinner time. They're pissed up. They're fucking trouble causing. They're out. You know what I mean? They've gone past that point of like having a good time. They're pissed up. They don't know what they're doing. Yeah. And you know, stuff happens. You know what I mean? I've had stuff, you know, where you just shake it off. But I've had my jaw broke in town. I've had like a glass smashed in my face. You know, I won't say what I, you know, I might have done something after that to them, but you know what I mean. Point is, you know, it's not. People are not slapping each other about in this city. Do you know what I mean? There's some heavy, you know,
I've got some heavy artillery.
Things are flying like in the pubs when it kicks off. Do you know what I mean? And
so
people are getting glassed up.
Yeah,
skull rat head. It's not like, wow, I've never seen that before. It's like just everyday occurrence to me.
It's very similar to our town, because I was talking to
Grimsby's rough in it, you know. That's what I'm saying. I think it's same round here, you know. Once the pits and everything shut down, and you know, it used to be like thriving villages, but on the outskirts of here, we've got, you know, Wakefield's only a small city, but it's like quite a large surrounding area with like a lot of rough villages. Yeah. And you know, it's like where I know Dave Bradford. When we started with the bare knuckle stuff, you know, somebody down in Leicester, some gypsies, they were like, you know, have you got any like, you know, any tough lads? It was like, I got on the phone to Dave, you know he's to be respected in town he's from, you know, they're all like pretty heavy hitters. So to have a Dave Bradford, you know, the boxer, the bare knuckle fighter.
Yeah.
So, you know, I took him with me the first time we went to Leicester. I thought, you know, I'm not going to take, you know, I think down at Leicester, they thought, you know, there's only a handful of us come down. There's a fair bit of them down there.
Had you been boxing and that then, Dale? Had you been?
I've been boxing since we were kids. Like, we went to the White Rose. And my granddad, he used to box in the Navy, but he was more street fighting stuff. And we've got quite a reputation. Like, my mother's family from Crofton, like I said, these villages on the outskirts of Wakefield. When they were in the sort of prime, they run some of the local rough pubs. And my great granddad trained like Paul Sykes, Ernie Fields when they were kids before they got known in White Rose. And
I was just going to go on to Paul Sykes,
Yeah, you know, my great granddad had a gym called the Bridge Gym above the Bridge Hotel down Kirgit, and he used to train, but he was into more jiu-jitsu and stuff like that. But it was there's loads of good old fighters around here. Do you know what I mean? It was easy, like in the gyms. They used to do the warm up with an old guy who was the fastest skipper, Guinness Book of Records, fastest skipper.
Oh, right.
Old Rayner, they called him. And
I think I remember seeing him, now you say
he was
that.
He was old as fuck when we met him when we were kids, but he used to come in and say, right, get your skipping ropes. And he used to do like half an hour, you know, like floor exercise before they even left. Like, in them days, we had to get the ring out and put the ring up after you'd done all your exercising, your boxing, bit of sparring, bit of pad and bag work. They'd like then say, right, now dismantle ring, pack it all away. Like being in that, you know, like army fucking manoeuvres. It were good, you know, it were good. Good training.
So when was your first fight then, and what sort of fighters were you into then, Dale?
What, in the boxing?
In the bare knuckle and the unlicensed. Yeah.
I used to like reading when I was a kid. I mean, we used to have these Gem Mace.
Yeah.
Who were probably one of my favourites I used to read about, Gypsy Gem Mace.
Yeah.
And then probably some of the old, you know, some of the ones that used to sort of set up in London and run the old, like, Tom Cribb.
Yeah.
Used to sort of, you know, all them type of ones, or I mean, it's hard to remember. You know,
obviously, like I know you followed Lenny's career in the unlicensed and that, and
yeah, I mean that we got into. I mean, I was kind of watching all that, years ago. Do you know what I mean? It's like when stuff come out on the internet, say about like James Quinn with Knuckle, and everybody were like, "Oh, fucking hell," and everybody had sort of latched onto like bare Knuckle. It were like, you know, some of my gypsy mates on the Jolly Sailor here, give me that DVD. Probably a year before it surfaced on the internet. You know, I watched that. I spoke to James. You know, people are a little bit behind, but sometimes it depends who you know, doesn't it? But I see stuff pop up on the internet as if it's like a fresh thing, and I think, you know, they kind of already knew a little bit about it.
Yeah. So
but boxing, we used to have Henry Cooper used to do a thing. It was called Henry Cooper's Golden Gloves.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Remember, I think it used to be on like a Sunday or something.
I remember that. I love Henry Cooper, yeah.
He used to take little teams from different amateur clubs and box it out, and I was supposed to go on that, but I ended up breaking my wrist and I didn't go. But I didn't do loads of, nothing like, I ain't got no like record. You know, we used to like do loads of like sparring in the gyms.
Yeah.
I never really sort of boxed for the White Rose, officially boxed for them, do you know what I mean? I used to like spar with old trainer called Sid Parker. But
you never had a clump off Paul Sykes then?
No, what the fuck, man? Like I said, Paul Sykes, when we were growing up, when my mum were from Crofton, but all her family kind of come from York and then landed on Lupset. My mum went to Manchester to where my dad were in Salford because she thought it was too rough.
Yeah.
So my dad come over to Broadway in Lupset and we lived there. And we didn't live far from Sykesy, but like I said, he'd been sort of brought up and he knew Arthur, my granddad, had a bit of a reputation, and then Arthur's dad, my great granddad, had trained Sykes, and he knew. So he had respect for people who could have a go. I won't say, you know, a lot of people say we're a bully, but that's probably all I saw of him acting like a bit of a bully. Do you know what I mean? When you were young.
It's very, it's a very split opinion on that, and it was Sykes, and like with Lenny, and like with many of them, you know.
I mean, you can't knock him. He was a good fighter, do you know what I mean? But
well, he had a good go with John L. Gardner, didn't he? I mean, come on. I mean, good go.
we met John a couple of weeks back. We went up because we've been doing the follow-on, like we went on and sort of did a bit of something. We did some chapters in something called Unfinished Agony, which is the follow-up to Sweet Agony, and it's not like the follow-up as in the story what Paul told when he writ it in the Nick.
No.
I think he typed it all up in Old Nick.
Yeah, he did, didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just all interviews, loads of different people, do you know what I mean? And again, it's a mixed divide of people saying he was alright, good fighter, don't want to hear a bad word about him, and then other people saying he were a wrong un, he were a bully, he were no, but a twat, you know what I mean? He were, you know, doing things in prison that you don't want to have done to you. You know what I mean?
Just talking about Paul and his creative ability then. So then you got offered a place at university, did you?
I went, well, when I come like out of prison and when I got into trouble again a little bit, and I went back to college and I had to do my GCSEs again. Right. And I was embarrassing, do you know what I mean? Because they were all like young'uns, do you know what I mean? I was not much older, but you could feel it in classroom as if, I'm oldest one in class, and I kind of should have done all this when I was their age. Yeah. But I stuck with it. I did my GCSEs, took a year to redo all that. Then I got onto another course to do your like A-levels to get you enough stuff to get into uni. And then I got into uni, and then I didn't really finish university. I kind of got in, and that were enough for me, do you know what I mean? Just to think, well, I got there, I seen what it was all about at uni. And it's all, if you don't want to follow one sort, you know, if you want to read a certain subject for 3 years, then after 3 years, if you don't know about it, then there must be something thick about it, do you know what I mean? That's all I'd say to somebody who's got a degree. They can like repeat stuff, text, they kind of know something like about one subject, and you don't get to pick your subject, do you know what I mean? It's like I wanted to do English, maybe poetry, maybe Irish writing. When you get there, you go into like a seminar and everybody, they'll have a list of stuff and they'll say, right, hold your hands up if you want to do dramatic English art or something, or hold your hands up if you want to do like journalism, and whoever's got their hand up most, the majority, that's the sort of stuff you'll study over them years, do you know what I mean? So you have your singular modules, but then you have your combined modules. Yeah. And the stuff that we're getting picked, I'm thinking, do I really want to spend my second year, my third year studying that? And that's not what I wanted to do. And a guy up here is a writer and a broadcaster called Ian Clayton,
Right.
who's wrote a few bits of decent stuff. A typical old Yorkshire fella.
Yeah.
He used to come up and do some lecturing, and he was lecturing like some of the creative English lessons. And he read some of, when I was writing the manuscript for my book, I was doing something for the poetry competition, the T.S. Eliot
Oh,
Prize.
yeah, I was going to mention that, yeah.
Yeah, he read some of my stuff then and went, listen, like, got me in corridor and he went, do us a favour, I'd fuck off this university degree if I were you. I'm doing some courses up at something called the Art Circus at Glasgow at Castleford. Come up there and, like, you'll, instead of seeing me once every 2 weeks for 2 hours in a lecture, you can sit with me round a table. It's like a working studio, kind of, where there's sculptured people there.
Yeah,
There's artists there. There's painters there.
Yeah.
There were Harry Malkin were there with him. He wore Yorkshire sort of sculpture artist.
Yes.
And do you know what I mean? There were some good people
yeah.
there that were making money. It wasn't like just these
Yeah.
twats at uni who were just talking about Shakespeare and stuff
Yeah,
like that. It
yeah.
were like, I were actually around people that were making money for a living out of art.
Where the actual
I learned-
creative juices was flowing and there was actually earning money from it. Yeah, I get what you're
Yeah,
saying.
the people telling you how to make money and showing you, like, yeah, you know, you don't have to be a starving artist. You can actually make a living out of this.
Yeah, the
You know what I
right
mean?
paths
So-
to go down. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I spent a couple of years up there, got more stuff finished. They published. They had a publishing company called Root.
Roots. Yeah.
Root, yeah. There were some people in my class. Some all right. That what's the name? That film, that Chocolat, you know, with Johnny Depp.
Oh yeah. Chocolate. Yeah.
I forget her name, like, but she were on my class, and then there were another guy on the class he wrote comedy, and he'd won a place on something to do with one of BAFTA things, and there was some decent people in the class, you know what I mean, that were doing all right. And I forget her name. I don't think she'll listen to this, but if she did, she'd kill me. I do know her, but I forgot her name. Like who did that? Joanne Harris.
Joanne.
Harris.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
She wrote that chocolate. She's done really well from that film, and she's got another novel out now, and she's making a decent living out of it.
Yeah. Well, the novel was actually was it actually called Chocolat? The novel.
Chocolat, I think, innit? Something like French chocolat.
Yeah.
But again, you know, some film company picked it up. It's all you need with a decent book. You know what I mean? Even if they don't even make the film, as long as they buy the rights, you can get a decent. There's no real big payouts in writing anymore. You know, where you make a deal with a publisher and you get 100 grand, 200 grand. Them days are long gone unless you're like one of maybe top 10 writers in the world. Them days are like, just, you know, it doesn't matter who you are. Them days are gone. But if you could, there is like money in the film industry where you could sell maybe, you know, the script, get a treatment done on the script, so they can set the option on it. So, you know, that's what we're looking at after the paperback with my book. We're trying to find someone to think, make a good film. We can strip it down, try and get a few quid.
So who other books you've helped or contributed on, aside from the Sykes one and that? Then I know you did some work with Tully's.
When I got in, like I said, through Sweet Agony, they were some of the first. When I was in prison as a kid, like Sweet Agony, you know, I had an old battered copy. My mum had a copy that Paul Sykes. My mum had got it from somewhere. It had like the old copy from John Glover's copy.
Yeah.
I had that somewhere. My mum's got it somewhere, and then kind of read stuff like Jimmy Boyle, you know, like all, you know, all them type of things. Brendan Behan, Borstal Boy. That was definitely something that like got me
hooked.
You know.
Yeah,
it definitely got me like thinking, maybe I could write something. You know, I liked his style, how he was saying things. It was a bit cheeky, but it was like heavy duty sort of writing, but still readable. I forgot what you were asking me then.
I was saying,
the other books. Sorry. So from the Sykes book, when I eventually got in touch with Rob Brenton, who is the publisher of Warcry Press, you know, we talked about doing my book, and it was on the. You know, I said to him, you know, I will let you do my book, but I want you to. He's got some other businesses, and there were printers sort of next door, and he was churning out stuff, but the quality of it wasn't great. You know, like how it was getting put together.
Yeah, but second rate.
There's no way I'm having my book done like that. So
no, it has to be right.
I wanted like Clay's to do it down at St Ives, who was probably the best company in Britain for printing and binding. So he agreed to that. While we were doing that. I spoke to Rob sort of game is looking for stuff that's kind of gone out of print, decent books, but they're kind of hard to find. So when we were looking, we're looking on, we were like, have you got any ideas that you think about? So
Yeah.
not off the top of my head, but after a couple of weeks, I sat thinking, and I thought, I'd look for like slang, the old Reg Kray book.
Yeah,
I'd
yeah.
look for like slang online, and you couldn't find it. You could only find a couple of copies, and they were like 50 quid or 80 quid, or somebody had a copy, and they were thinking, there's none out there for print, so I'll hold on to it. I'll try and sell it at a stupid price.
Yeah, yeah.
We're only like a quid or something to buy.
Yeah, a bit like the Sykes book for long enough.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It was like 50 pence or something, and I got it up at 70 quid.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I kind of found a way to get in touch with Steve Tully, who dealt Reg Kray, with Bangor Reg Kray. So I initially were talking to Steve Tully on phone about, do you think, can we get a third edition out of slang?
Right.
And from that, he was like, yeah, great. And then from that, other conversations, other phone calls, he was like, I have got my own book, like I'm doing Pupil of the Krays.
Yeah.
All about him being banged up. He'd gone and knocked on Reggie's door and asked him, look, I'm definitely not going to rehabilitate myself. I'm going full tonk into crime. I need like a mentor. Do you fancy giving me all the, information and stuff, And he was like, I think they thought about it overnight, and Reg said, yeah, come in, have a cup of tea, and then he kind of schooled him. Who better to school you than sort of Reg Kray on crime,
Well,
like, as a young kid, Steve Tully was just sort of, he just evolved, kind of come out and, he got involved with a few things and contacts and stuff like that, and he did all right. So, yeah, from there we agreed to, Rob, I agreed like I'd get it over to Rob, and Rob took on Steve Tully's book, Pupil of the Krays. We got the slang book out. Charles Delafeld, who he's doing
fantastic
like his
artist, Charles,
yeah, brilliant artist. Do you know what I mean? He's doing his Gangland. He had an exhibition, but it fell through. But it wasn't his fault. He had some stuff out in the Guardian, and it were all like scheduled to go ahead, and he'd done really well with pushing it out there. And then the venue went and turned the back on him, and they asked for something like $2,500 up front for the bar or something, and he was like, "Yeah, I ain't got it," Anyway,
good God,
doing it again, he's kind of...
Yeah, I remember getting invited down to that. Yeah, that was a shame.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, well, he's getting it sorted out again. It'll definitely be on, but
it has to happen. I mean,
yeah, I think he's got about 30 paintings sat there.
I've actually said to so many, just do a big up for Charles. I've actually said to so many people round our networks and that, to keep an eye out for Charles's work, and he's going to be big one day. That fella, he is some talent.
I want being like manipulative, but I thought, if I'm going to get somebody, I'd had this cover for the ink run.
Who designed your cover? I forgot that.
I'd designed it myself, kind of. Right. Sort of nicked it, a photo, messed about with a photo. You can't find the photo on the internet anymore. I mean, I'm talking about 15 years ago when I got this photo and thought, yeah, I'll have that.
So it's an idea, and you've mashed it up with some ideas of your own.
I kind of mashed it all up and made it all myself, but I was still worried, thinking if this book does do all right, I didn't want somebody creeping out at woodwork later down the line in 5 years saying, I painted that or I did that. So I thought, well, I'll ask Charles. He agreed, for free. We're like, I said, I'll give you a bit of, if the book's doing all right, you're out there, right? You're on the front cover with your own artwork. I thought it was a good, either way it worked, we kind of worked for both of us. I mean, he gets a bit of publicity. I got I got my copyright sorted out.
Exactly.
So, I own the painting, I own the copyright for the painting, so there's no sweat now about anybody saying, here, that's my paint, that's my photograph, or...
So I mean, talking about the ink run, just going into the ink run again, obviously, because it's a big deal for us to talk about. I know people can go on YouTube and watch the...
we had a little promo video done. Again, we kind of did that because we've been sending that to just some people, like just arty sort of filmmakers, just to give them a little taste, to say, look, we can do this with nothing.
Exactly. I was quite impressed. It's good. It's very good.
Yeah, it was just something that we knocked together very easily, very quickly. Just I got all the images, and then I sent them to Rob, and Rob just matched them all in one of them video maker things and put it together. It does look pretty good. Say it's just
it looks professional.
And it's if we had a little bit of a budget and we I think we could make a good film. I think it is a good film script. I've had people before like said to me, you know, is it going to be a film? Is it? Especially after watching the little promo video.
Where did you come up with the idea for that for your Ink Run book then? I have to be honest, I haven't read it yet.
Well, do you know, I don't really know. I mean, it started. You know, I've got sheets of paper where I writ it all by hand. You know what I mean? I've got a massive like handwritten manuscript that I've been writing for years. Do you know what I mean? I kind of for years.
How many years, Dale?
I'd say 15 years.
Right. Okay.
Well, might as well have gone in and done a fucking life sentence.
So since the sort of millennium time, you've been writing it.
Yeah, a long time. But again, first few years, I was just sort of like getting up, writing shit down. I didn't really know what I was or what I was doing, and then over time, it kind of the ideas started coming at me, thinking, "Oh, that bit fits and this bit fits," and it kind of developed from there until I broke it down dead simple to sort of the beginning, the middle, and the end. And then when I was like getting up and scribbling stuff down, I kind of had a bit of a rough idea, thinking, well, at least that's for beginning bit, or that's for end, or I think that's for end, or you know, I wrote it all backwards and it upside. You know, I didn't start back and write it from.
You won't start, middle, and end. You just it was like again say so. It was a mashup of a load of different things, and you pieced it all together in the end, and it's
eventually pieced it all together. You might as well like throw a million-piece jigsaw up in the air, do you know what I mean?
And then try and put it back together.
Yeah, I mean, I put off like even typing it for you know, people saying you're going to type. No, I just didn't seem to be able to put the pen down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I found it hard to edit the book because there were a lot of stuff I left out that I didn't really. If I'd have had more time and you know, it all come down to cost at the end, Lee, because it's 704 pages.
It is a big book. It is a big book.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When you know, we wanted to put out the hardback because I wanted to show people a quality book to start with, just to kind of give them that first impression. Yeah. So, you know, the prices were like ridiculous. Do you know what I mean? I'm not even making any money out of it. It's just what Rob's put in. He's backed me up. Do you know what I mean? And whatever he's paid out, that goes back to him.
Yeah.
And, you know, people, like I said.
Have you got any idea? Have you got any? You know, you're going to be releasing it through Kindle or ebook or anything like that?
It's all out on. This is what Rob does. You know what I mean? That's where he's like strong with stuff. It's out on Kindle. It's out on Amazon. It's out on.
Okay. I have to confess, I didn't know.
It's out on Waterstone's site.
Brilliant.
It's out on Barnes and Noble. It's on like the Nook for iBook, which you have to do. You have to do that different. You have to set that all up with an iMac and do all that like a different format.
It's more of an American thing, isn't it, Nook?
Yeah, that's for them. Do you know what I mean? But again, you have to set it up different on a format. But all that. I've got a Waterstones signing like sorted out. I've been like chipping away at, you know, a bit of publicity, a bit of advertising. Right. So now we've sort of made a bit of a breakthrough with Wakefield. It's like I've got that. I think something's coming out in the paper, our local paper, this Friday. Yeah. And then the week after, on the Saturday, I'm doing a Waterstone signing from 11 till 4. And then once I've got that out of the way, then I can sort of go bigger cities like Leeds and bounce. You know, once you broke the ice, there's no reason why, you know, they're not going to turn me down in Leeds when I've just done one in Wakefield. So
no.
Kind of the next stage for us is getting the book on the shelves in places, because until you've risen up the Amazon charts, this is why when I say to people, if you bought it off Amazon, leave a review, because the more it goes up the charts in Amazon, the more like people that are like distributors look at it and think, we'll stock that in store. Until you've got some sort of, you know, I don't think people realise, Lee, the ins and outs of like books. Do you know what I mean? They think you just sit down, write a book, fling it out, and it's out, and that's it. It's like the business side of it is massive. You know what I mean? There's a lot to think.
Well, the writing of it, mate, I mean, to be honest with you, I started writing a couple of years ago, and I've wrote for quite a while. You don't want to talk about me too much, but and obviously we've got books coming out, but I've done a lot of things in my life, and it's probably the hardest thing I've ever done. It takes it out of you, it really does.
I mean, when I was typing up the Ink Run, I was I was like, I think it's 156,000 words, do you know what I mean? So I was like, I got to certain stages. Fucking hell, you know what I mean? It was like, when you're just scrolling through and you just hold your finger on button, it's just like, I could like mesmerise myself to sleep looking at it all, thinking, we've made a couple of little mistakes in the hardback, but nothing major, just, a couple of little grammatical mistakes or a spelling mistake here and there, but we all that first time, like, as a debut, we didn't really have much, like, proofreaders. I kind of read it all through myself. I did a lot of the work myself, what people who were, like, higher up the chain had, like, offset that work to people and say, you do that. It'd be nice to get to that stage where all I've got to do is the writing. That'll be easily, do you know what I mean? But when you're at the start, you've got to do everything, haven't you? So,
of course you have. So
it's all a learning curve.
Of course it is. So what's coming up then, Dale? What future projects are you on?
What I've been doing, I was just working on Charles Bronson. We do a lot of support work for Charles Bronson over the years and that.
Yeah, I'll just cut in there. We've got. I have to cut in there. Sorry to butt in. We've got Charles Bronson, obviously with his parole coming up very soon.
July.
Yeah, and we've got Paula on. She's agreed to do a show, so she'll be on soon.
Paulise, yeah.
Yeah, she'll be on. So I've spoke to her. She's a lovely lady. Anyway, so we'll be speaking to her soon. So, yeah, go on, mate. Sorry. I mean, this had not come through Paulita. This had come through Rod Harrison, and Rod wrote to me saying, "Look, I usually, I've never been into Wakefield prison because with my background, I don't know if I'd get into the prison for a visit cleared. Like, they've got to come out, and the Home Office come out to visit and all that. And I think I don't want them in my house. But also, I wouldn't want to take other people's visits. What are more, to me, there's other people that need to go in front of me to visit Charlie. It'd only be like a sort of gimmicky thing to go in. I'd love to see him, but it'd be like, I've met Bronson, but I think his family needs to go in before me. So I've never pushed it with him about a visit. But Rod always goes in, or anybody, and I always go down to the Henry Bones pub, which is bang outside the prison. So I'll meet people that are on the visits, and then we'll have a chat, have a brew, or have a pint. They'll go in, then I'll wait for them to come out, and then I kind of get the visit relayed back to me, sort of first time. As they've just come out, so I usually hear what's going on pretty quick. Rod had said Charlie, he'd read a couple of articles. I did a few articles on the bare knuckle, and did an article on Lenny McLean about in one of my mates, Ian Butlin, the Butlin twins. They had a magazine out, this MMA Uncaged. Yeah, I read that.
Yeah,
fantastic.
I've done some features in their articles that I'd written for them as a favour, and Bronson had got hold of them, and then through that he'd said to Rod, I've read them, I want him, he asked for me personally to sort of write his next book for him, so
brilliant.
I'm working on that, but it's all gone on hold at the minute, because there's a few things in it that even as I was sort of reading through it, he was sending the manuscripts, and I was typing it up and editing it and adding little bits. Yeah. I'm reading through it thinking, this is good, but fucking hell, do you really want to say this? Do you know what I mean? If you watch, do you want to get out? So I think because he's realised he's got, I don't know what's exactly happening with the parole, but they've got new solicitors involved, and there's other stuff that hopefully they can sort of go back on that failed before, and they're trying to sort of push stuff again to say, he didn't have the right representation, and he's, things are going on. So hopefully in July, he just didn't want to mess it up with some book coming out that's slagging the system off again. It's just gone on hold. So I've moved on. I'd already been doing a poetry book. I did a poetry book with that route first time for the T.S. Eliot Prize. So I kind of left that. I never tried to sell it. You had to have it published just to enter the competition. So that again was a learning curve for me when I was younger. I thought, well, I'll go through the process of how to publish something. Just so I can find out what goes on, and then I got it published and entered for this competition. I didn't win the competition, but you don't get any feedback whatsoever. So even if you come second, you wouldn't have known about it. You could have been close, but I kind of, because I didn't win, I was a bit arrogant when I was young, and I thought, oh fuck it then, I didn't win it, thinking I'm going to win the T.S. Eliot Prize first time round. So I just left it. Do you know what I mean? But there's some good poetry, and I've wrote a load more again when I've been writing the manuscript for the ink run. I've kind of to just take a break, but still to write. I've wrote song lyrics for bands. I've wrote poetry. I just wrote little short stories like these articles I've been doing. So it was just a bit of just something different to still write something different. So
it's funny, we're just cutting in again with how sort of dark how sort of dark your cover looks for your book, for your ink run. I'm surprised actually you never tried to approach Charles Bronson to do some artwork for that.
Well, I've got him doing some. He is actually doing some artwork for me because I sent him the book in. I sent him a free copy. Like I couldn't, I hadn't had loads of free copies to be able to send out. Not at all. It's costing me money to give somebody to read. I think I'm gonna have to took all this time to write it. I'm paying you to read it. That's not.
That's not the way it's supposed to go.
It's backwards here. But I sent Charlie one in for note, obviously. He read it. He wrote something and he sent it back out to me. He's put it took me a fucking week to read this, but it was a nice week. And, he's doing some artwork. I don't know what he's doing, but he's going to do something for me that's got the book in it, and we'll just use that for publicity. But I mean, I've always loved it. I've got a wall full of his art stuff. That some stuff I've bought, some stuff he's sent me, some stuff that's personal from him to me, some stuff that I've just, there's all sorts of stuff, and I'd love to see it. I mean, he just churns it out. To be honest, years ago, it were more unique, if I'm honest, my opinion about it were more unique years ago, and now there seems to be that much of it, and it's dropped down in price, so every Tom, Dick and Harry's got a bit of Bronson work. So the people 10, 20 years ago that had Bronson work and kind of felt a bit special thinking, I've got a bit of Bronson. I don't think you don't have that sort of feeling anymore, do you know what I mean? Because you know everybody's got a bit, so it's kind of
it's like it's funny you should say that, because it's like the Lenny McLean thing that I've always done, that me and Ant's always done, and I know that it sounds like a silly thing to say, but it's fact. Me and Ant spoke about it in length many times. Things seem to be better in a certain aspect when Ant and I hardly had anything to show a Lenny. We had an handful of pictures each. And that's all we had for years and years and years. But everybody still kept their interest. We seemed to keep their interest. Obviously, Ant massively more than me. I had me blog and me other site and that, but Ant doing the official site. And then we seem to be swamped. It's like all of a sudden becoming a millionaire and then not knowing what to buy.
Sometimes everything's goes. I mean, it's the same with the Krays. I think it just goes into overspill, doesn't it? It's like, no, fucking hell, somebody's going to buy the Krays fucking socks or something. It's like, come on.
Well, like you say, it is like overkill with the Krays, but the thing is, a lot of people slag the Kray twins off, and it's again split opinions. But the thing is, they're a saleable commodity, aren't they? All the time, forever.
Oh, yeah, I mean, massively. Do you know what I mean?
There's always a pound note to be had.
Lee, if they give me a budget and said, look, go for it, I'd love to make that Krays film. The one that everybody wants to see.
Oh, you and I.
They've touched on, there's 4 films out, you know what I mean? And they've touched on, in every film, there's been really good stuff, and then there's been a couple of bits where you think, I don't like that, or that casting's wrong, or that something's wrong with all of them, do you know what I mean? But there's a lot of stuff right with them.
Talking about the Kray film, because we spoke about it with Steve Wraith in our last in the last podcast.
Steve,
he's a fantastic fella, Steve, isn't he? But the thing is with the Kray's film, the first film was full of sugar, as far as I'm concerned. And
it would all a bit,
and the second film was a bit too fine and glossy.
Well, it's like for me, loving the bare knuckle. The first fucking film, you've got how they portrayed his granddad, Cannonball Lee, like some silly old doddering.
I know, yeah.
To me, it was like, oh come on, and
played by a comedy actor.
They took the time to have people around that ring in the fair, they had Kid Berg, they had
Lenny, and
they had John H.
Stracy. Yeah, I can never say his name.
I can't. I always say Stacey.
I always say Stacey. I think I said Stacey to him. If you're there, John, sorry.
Them we've just mentioned. The legends, proper boxing. They're they're the type of guys that have been in them tents around that era, definitely. And then they have portray Cannonball Lee like some bull.
Yeah.
To me, that's where I'd alter that massively.
I always thought they got the casting wrong. I always thought that they should have played the opposite parts. I thought Martin should have played Ron. Always.
Yeah. I mean, they were twins. They did really well. I thought they did really well. I mean, I didn't like the Legend film. Do you know what I mean? Again, for the massive budget, Hollywood, they put that twist on it, and they always go overboard, and it's it was nice hearing it from that point of view. Tom Hardy, brilliant actor, do you know what I mean? And how he did it all. But again, I think a lot of people say he kind of went a bit overboard with, not with actions of Ron, but how Ron spoke and how Ron Kray wouldn't have spoke and said some of the things in that film. You know what I mean? Can I have your sausage? Fucking hell, give. You know, it turned into a bit. You know, halfway through, I started cringing at cinema. I was just thinking, it's like a fucking comedy. This.
Yeah, I must admit as well. One of the biggest things for me talking about that, talking about Tom Hardy, I am quite a fan of Tom. I liked him in Peaky Blinders. He weren't the main thing, but he was good in it. He was good in it. The thing is with Tom, if I hear his name one more time thrown up to play any part. Oh my God! You know, if you say they're doing a film about a Grimsby skipper, Tom Dalton was his name. Who do you think's up for the part? Oh, Tom Hardy. Why? Because his name's Tom. Yeah.
Well, he loves stripping off, doesn't he? So you know, he'd love it.
Yeah.
Grimsby fucking see, but
yeah,
definitely. I mean, to me, he made it with Bronson. That's his best role, I think. You know what I mean? How he did Bronson.
Yeah. It was a good film, Bronson. If I'm honest, it was a good film.
It was a good film, but again, some stuff Charlie didn't like. Some stuff in there.
Yeah, but he didn't.
He didn't like the pissing on the gypsies because he said that never happened.
Yeah.
And he thought that was disrespectful. You know,
disrespectful. Totally.
He knows a lot of gypsy fellas, and he didn't like that. And
no.
He was like, why have you put that in? The guy who was like,
there's a lot of people who'd rather have pissed on.
Exactly. And the guy again, another like where they've got it wrong with like a boxing promoter or a character. Bronson's like promoter who got him the bare knuckle fights. He wasn't like some camp guy like that guy how they put him across.
No, I know.
He was a proper roughy, toughy type of guy.
Yeah,
so why they fucking cast him that way? God knows.
I don't know what it is. I mean, we all know and we all feel the artistic license. You know, we you know, especially writing from a writing experience.
Of course, yeah, mate. Yeah, I think with books maybe you can go a little bit more overboard, but I think if it's a visual, you know what I mean? You've got to.
Yeah, I mean,
these characters that they could have portrayed, there were no reason to mess with them. They could have just left them out of the water and followed it.
Yeah,
it just as an impact.
Yeah, it just wasn't gritty enough, was it? It just wasn't gritty enough. I think in some places, the Bronson film, I think they made that a little bit too. I can't think of the word really, but a little bit too sickly.
Yeah.
I found it a little bit depressing. Sorry if you can hear me saying this.
Well, there was some. Look, if you proper watch it closely, Lee, right? If you watch you know, like where he's on the stage and then it says this is Bronson against Broadmoor.
Yeah.
When it shows you like that footage in the back, a lot of people think, oh, that's the original footage. That footage is fucking Strangeways, right? Alan Lord up on the roof. That's not even Broadmoor. Even that, they didn't even get the footage right.
Yeah.
You think, you know, this footage, there's pictures of Bronson up on the roof. They didn't even bother like doing that. They put the footage of like Strangeways right behind. I don't know whether that was intentional. I think from the film, people just assume, oh yeah, that's Bronson up on the roof. It's real live footage. But if you know a little bit about Alan Lord, you know for a fact that's Strangeways.
Yes, yeah.
Well, there were all sorts of stuff. I'm so picky, me, Lee. Do you know what I mean? I'm really picky.
Oh, I am, mate.
That's wrong.
I've been a musician all my life, mate, and you ask Anthony. I'm very, very picky. I think our book went for deadline on the 31st of January, and I think I've had it back 10 times. I'm just a nightmare.
You've got to do, because this is the thing. It's like we thought we'd gone through everything with a fine tooth, and we had gone through everything with a fine tooth comb with the ink crumb. But again, as soon as you got it back, it was like, as soon as the print come back and that were it, and it was like, this is it, it's there. Straight away up and found a mistake, and I thought, oh fucking hell, what?
Yeah, when you're writing, mate, there's a fistful of fine tooth combs that you have to go through, isn't there?
Of course it is, yeah. But we've got the paperback coming out. We've got the format of the paperback. We've got fantastic news for me. I've got like Noel Razor-Smith. He's done a little quote for me, a nice quote. He's had the book. You know, Noel's got few kind words and a loaded gun. You know, he's published by Penguin. He writes for the Guardian all the time. He's always on the TV and all the time.
Yes.
Fantastic writer, but again, he was a proper major fucking villain, you know, in his day. You know?
True, yeah. The thing is, though, Dale, I have to say this, and it's probably doing you down a little bit. And I think the days of hardback is sort of. I know the reason for wanting them, but I think people sort of don't want them anymore.
You can't completely. The only reason we only put 250 hardback out was just for people that have backed me from a long time ago, and I thought, well,
Yeah.
you know, the more or less all them 250 have gone. It was just for people to have something, but when hopefully if it does fly, they've got something to look back on later and say,
Yeah.
you know, yeah, I got the hardback edition. That's
Yeah,
all it
yeah.
was for. Do you know what I mean? Just to show off a little bit, and you can add a bit extra. The paperback will come down in price. You know, we've had to drop the Kindle down to $1.99 to compete with.
Yeah.
You know, people, if you look on Kindle and you can see who's looked at your book and then what other books they've viewed. If they're looking at your book and it's $17.95, and then they're looking at Stephen King and it's 99 pence. They don't know who the hell you are. They think, oh, I'll have Stephen King.
Yeah.
I know who it is.
It's also exactly. It's also a bit disheartening because if you put a tagline on the front of your book saying "full frontals of Kelly Brook" inside, your ratings would fly.
There is full frontals of Kelly. You haven't read book, have you, like?
Yeah. So you're getting that, everyone.
I know what you mean. Yeah, I might as well have just.
Well, it's true, isn't it? As sad as that sounds, it's the way things are. I tell you what, I'm gonna ask you a smash hits question now.
Go on.
I'm sort of getting near wrapping this up. If you could have wrote anybody's book, whose would it have been?
In the gangster sort of field?
Well, we're Gangland podcast, so let's say in the gang arena.
Yeah, Gangland arena.
Don't say mine.
No, you're not. I'm not a gangster. You're not a gangster. No. We just pretend to be
Gangster.
Around.
Good God, mate.
Gangsters involved, really.
Yeah, I'd rather not.
I'd like to have wrote Joey Pyle Jr. because I think he's been very close to the source. Do you know what I mean? Like a lot of the major stuff. Do you know what I mean? I think he's got. I know he's got a fantastic autobiography to come.
Yeah.
So I'd love to have done something with Joey. Yeah.
Yeah, I spoke to Joey for our book, and yeah, he's an interesting fellow, much the same as his. His
I mean,
dad.
he's got some. He could put out a DVD now that'd be a fucking smash hit. Like, and I just think he just sits back and he's like, he knows what he's got, and he don't need to push for it. He's doing.
He
well
don't
with his
need
boxing.
to. No.
His passion is the boxing, and he's doing great. You know, I mean, we were down here last week in Leeds, like with Josh Warrington, and they were fighting, and you know, he's on with Frank Warren. And,
Yeah.
He's got some of that old footage, like, you know, if you want to see the Lenny McLean, Roy Shaw, he's got some great, you know, his dad put the fucking shows on. He's got some he's got some great footage that people just haven't seen.
Yeah,
and if you put it out on a DVD, it'd fly off the shelves. Do you know what I mean? But I think it'd probably come at some point, but I don't think.
Yeah, he's keeping hold of it. I already asked him for it.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, he's just like that, Joey, isn't he? If you're listening, Joey, if you want to,
we went down to Dave Courtney's for his 50th, and I was saying to Ruth, "Oh, fucking hell, you know, I've got to get him a present, like, obviously." So I'm like, anyway, but I kind of took my own boxing books off my own shelf that I thought, you know, when you pull this stuff off your books, I think I really don't want to fucking give that away, but I know I had to give him some like decent boxing stuff that he'd not heard of, or that I thought he might not have heard of. So he wrote me a nice little thing back and said, you know, something, I've been reading through that, I've never read it before. Thanks for like sending me something that, you know, because, you know, it's hard to pick a boxing book for somebody that, you know's into the boxing. Do you know what I mean? He's probably read everything.
Exactly.
But I kind of found, you know, I'm into my boxing too, so I did happen to, I gave him about 3 books or something, but one of them, he'd not read, so I was happy with what he got.
As long as he was happy.
Yeah, definitely. Do you know what I mean? Like I said, a lot of these that float about saying LL and R and all this shit, I've seen him in action, mate, and the fucking hell, I don't think a lot of them know what it means. I mean, a lot of them do, but there's definitely some floating about. Yeah, fringes that are like, they just want to be involved with it all.
Yeah, and today I've had our run-ins with LL and
the LL and R gang, but like I said, Joey and all them and Mitch, and you know, they're the ones that. If you want to know anything, or if you want to believe anything, listen to them, because they're the ones that will tell you the truth. They're there. They've been next to like Joe Senior, and he's the man in it. Do you know what I mean? So there's no need to doubt people like that. And the thing is, they're really nice people. You'd think they're the ones that could be like off with you, but actually they're quite approachable and decent. Do you know what I mean? They're interested in you, and they're very nice people. Where you get some that you know they're full of shit. You know, they're acting as if they're something they're not.
Yeah. Well, that sort of is a nice place to sort of close there, mate. On
Yeah, slag some folk off.
you're like sort of finishing on like Plastic Gangsters. Yeah.
Finish
So
off the plastics.
So, if you want to pick up Dale's books and things he's been involved in, you know, he's told you where to get them. So,
Yeah, if you go to War Cry Press,
War Cry, yeah.
go
Good
to the War
outfit.
Cry website. They've got everything on there. Like I said, the stuff that we've done with her. You can get the ink run. You can get. I'm in mentioning Dave Radford's book, Blood Is Only Red Sweat. Great read if you want to know about the bare knuckle scene.
There you go.
There's Dodger, Pupil of the Krays, Steve Tully, great book. There's
Excellent.
Maureen Flanagan's on there to do with the Krays.
Yeah, lovely
There's
Lady
slang.
Maureen,
You can go and buy slang now. You don't have to pay fucking £100 for a copy of it. You can get it for $9.99 or whatever it is, $7.95, whatever it is. You know, so yeah, Alan Lord's books on there. You know, Strange Ways.
Yeah.
You know, there's all sorts of stuff on there. Patsy Manning's old book, Trumpet All the Way, which is a bit of a travel. It's a different. Again, if you want a little bit of a different crime story, Patsy's is a lot about travelling. It's like a bit like Packalon or something. He's out in the fucking jungles, like up to God knows what.
Hang on, are you on their PR team?
No. They wish.
Yeah. Okay, Dale. Right, so
no
we'll leave it there, mate. It's been great chatting to you, mate. And by the time I speak to you next time, I will have read the ink run.
Yeah, you better do.
I will do, mate.
Otherwise, when you do read it, we'll put you under the raft, and when you have read it, then you'll know what I mean.
Yeah. Brilliant.
All right, mate. Thanks
Cheers,
a lot,
fella.
and
Hey.
all the best to everybody.
Yeah, and all the best to you, mate.
All right, lad. Take care.
Have a good day. Cheers, pal. Bye-bye, mate.
So, bye,
Bye, mate.
Right, another cracking little interview with Dale, but there, hope you all like
bang
that. You've been a busy man this week, Dave. Between interviewing Dale and you've done a new video for Kelly McLean.
Yeah.
On your site now. Very funny, I gotta be honest.
Yeah.
And you've been working on a book as well. I don't know where you get the time, mate, to be honest.
I'll be honest with you, mate. I don't want to sound like some sort of high flyer who's always up to this, that, and the other. But I've been up to quite a bit. The little spoof video we've done that takes more time than you would think. Kelly and Karen are born little actresses there. I had to bit of editing on that, and so everything's good, but it always takes time, and you know
of course
finding the time sometimes difficult, isn't it? So
but good stuff anyway, big man. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed today's show, and don't miss our next podcast. Mess.
You're losing it, man. Put your fucking.
I lost it a long time ago.
I know he's working at the weekend. Did you remember to take your fucking gum shield out?
So don't miss our next episode. So not much more to say that other than wrap it up, big man.
Yeah, I'll wrap it up, and I'm going to wrap it up tidy, as to use one of Ant's phrases.
Tidy.
Yeah. Go on, what?
Tidy.
Yeah, all good. I hope you all liked it. Remember, leave all your comments and get some questions flooding into us. You know, we've got our resident
Get some questions, ask us anything.
Yeah, anything. We will answer anything.
Call us rotten, call me a Welsh sheepshag, do what you want, just give us a bit of feedback.
If you want to know about Ant's cross-dressing at the weekend,
I'm going to tell them all you.
If you want to know why he's fared on the door, you picture him in a maxi dress with lipstick and a tiara on. Fucking frightens me. Right.
But, thanks everyone. I hope you enjoyed the episode.
Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back soon. Have a nice time, people.
Know what I mean?
remember this was all people that done Charlie some harm. You know, they overowed him money, didn't want to pay it back. It wasn't they just used to go and pull someone off the street and torture him. Behind every bit of trouble in prison, you'd find Frank.